Hey guys, welcome to the second video on Sleep Help Zone YouTube channel. So in this video, we'll be talking about how sleep affects your mental health and what you can do if you think a lack of sleep is impacting you negatively. So I think we all know that if you don't sleep enough, your mental health will be affected negatively. And obviously there's many reasons for not getting enough sleep. You could be working too hard in the office, just spending too many hours there. You could be in college partying too hard, drinking too many pints with your friends. Or you could just be a family man, get woken by a baby, But it's still important to aim for between 7 and 9 hours of sleep every night. A lot of us are actually functioning in a permanently sleep deprived state because we're forced to live such busy, hectic lives, and our schedules, they're just too busy. But I think we all know that drinking coffee isn't the permanent solution to this. We need to sleep better to improve our mental health, to feel better in ourselves and to feel more confident and less anxious. I think it's important to remember that everyone who's struggling to sleep can improve their mental health. It's not just people with disorders such as depression or anxiety who are affected by a lack of sleep. Everyone who's struggling to get enough hours sleep will definitely benefit if they get their 7 to 9 recommended hours. So the reason we need to sleep at night is because sleep recharges the brain, not too dissimilar to how we charge our phones at night. If you don't recharge your brain, your thinking and emotional regulation may become impaired, similar to how your phone might slow down if it gets to below 10% battery, for example. So you may realise if you do get a poor night's sleep, that you may feel quite a bit more anxious than you would when you get your 7 to 9 hours sleep. It's also important to realise that over a long time, sleep deprivation can lead to development of depressive disorders. And the thing about this is that this can further exacerbate sleep problems. Depression leads to insomnia, which leads to worse sleep. So it's like a vicious cycle in the way you don't get enough sleep, you may develop a depressive disorder, which leads to you getting even less sleep. So there has been studies done on people with insomnia to see how their mental health is. And these studies have actually shown that people suffering from insomnia are 10 times more likely to suffer from depression and 17 times more likely to suffer from anxiety. So you can see from these statistics that it is very important to deal with symptoms of insomnia before you get to the stage where you're suffering from depression or anxiety. And it's important to note that with worsening insomnia it becomes an increased likelihood of developing depression. So you really want to nip this in the bud. So it's important to note that a lack of sleep will affect your personal mental health, and this will obviously leave you feeling anxious, lethargic, or whatever lack of sleep does for you yourself. But it'll also strain your relationships with those around you. You might see your friends less, you might be in the mood to see them. Your family life can suffer. Maybe you don't want to see your parents as much, maybe the kids are annoying you more. And it's also important to realise that your work performance may be impacted negatively. So your performance may suffer, you mightn't be hitting your deadlines as easily. There's many effects it can have on all aspects of your life. So I think it's important to actually define what insomnia is. So insomnia is characterised by a difficulty falling asleep, staying asleep, or waking up too early. So if you're the kind of person who you go to bed, you're tossing and turning for ages, or maybe you wake up too early in the morning, maybe you don't need to be up until 7 and you're waking up at 4, you can't get back to sleep. You may be suffering from insomnia if these things seem familiar to you. Everyone has experiences like this, but some people suffer from chronic insomnia. This is when these symptoms are felt for a month or longer, and this could be due to underlying physical or mental issues, or people who drink too much caffeine during the day, or if they're drinking too much alcohol close to bedtime, which negatively impacts your quality of sleep, or people who do shift work. So if you're working irregular hours, you're working 12 to 12, and then you're getting couple hours off and you're back in work again, it's just not good for your sleep pattern. Like, you can't keep your sleep pattern because your work is all over the place. I think most people with sleep problems will suffer from short-term insomnia, where this lasts a couple of days or weeks, and this usually isn't caused by underlying physical or mental issues or behavioural factors. This could be caused by stress, so if you're stressed at work, or if someone's sick, you mightn't sleep as well, you'll be worrying about it. There could be changes in noise levels where there might be building going on outside your house and you can't sleep because it's noisy, or maybe you got new neighbours and they're partying the whole time and you just can't sleep because of that. Or if the temperature is too hot, in the summer sometimes you might need to change your duvet if it's too heavy and you can't sleep because you're roasting hot, or if you're back from abroad getting jet lagged, if you're flying from Europe to the US or the US to Europe, that could be a reason. There's just many reasons why people suffer from short-term insomnia. I think everyone does at some stage in their lives. But it's very important to make an attempt to fix these problems as soon as possible. So whether you're suffering from chronic or temporary insomnia, here are just a few ideas of things you can do to help fix your sleep. So it's important to exercise regularly. This is good for your health, just generally. It's good to be active, but you shouldn't exercise 3 hours before bed because it's just too much for your brain, it's too much for your body. Just make sure you do the exercise earlier in the day, just not around bedtime. You should try limit your intake of caffeinated drinks to before 2 p.m. And as you get close to bedtime, it gets even more important to not be drinking caffeinated drinks. It's also important to try sleep and wake at the same time, so people would refer to this as having a sleep pattern. So if you go to sleep at midnight during the week and wake up at 7, it's probably a good idea to keep to the same pattern at the weekends. So don't be getting up at 11 o'clock in the day just because you don't have to go to work. It's important to keep the waking time as consistent as you can. Another good idea is to only use your bed for sleeping. So don't be using screens in bed, for example. Your brain will actually then associate that bed is only for sleeping. It's not for going on the phone, it's not for watching Netflix, it's not for listening to music. It's just for sleeping. And this will improve your quality of sleep. Establishing a nighttime routine is something people also find helpful. So for example, brushing your teeth at the same time every night, or putting on face cream, or having a hot shower half an hour before bed. It just helps you wind down before you can go to bed and get a nice rest. So finally, it's important to realise that if you can't sleep, you shouldn't panic. If you start to panic and start thinking, oh, it's early in the morning now, I should be asleep, you'll get stressed and then you won't be able to sleep anyway. You'll end up frustrated and you'll probably end up getting an hour's sleep. It just won't do you any good. So if you think you won't sleep, it's a good idea to listen to music, maybe something calm. Don't be listening to black metal or anything, even though that might be fun. I don't know, if you like it, that's good. But listen to some calm music maybe, or read a book until you feel a bit sleepier. Otherwise, like I said, you'll end up frustrated and you might get no sleep. So it's better to get some sleep than none, isn't it? So that wraps up our video on sleep and its impact on mental health. If you want to check out the description, you'll find a link to our website. And if you want to subscribe, that's cool. Hit the bell, you'll get the notifications for a new video. And thanks guys. Cheers.